Hello, this is DC Hammer. Welcome to the DC Hammer Show. Today we are introducing a new wrinkle to the program, as Fridays from now on will be Open Mind Friday, during which we will report on issues that are not fully accepted in the mainstream, include conjecture on our part, or are still being nailed down by the alternative media, and may still be in the ongoing investigation category. Today, intrepid independent citizen journalist Abigail has put together a short but comprehensive overview of issues involving the rash of fires that plagued California during 2018.
Thanks, DC, for including our special segment on the Paradise, California fires. As you no doubt know, most alternative news outlets are agreed that the fires were man-made, but there is not complete agreement on the methods. Most mention directed energy weapons and reference chemtrails, consisting of aluminum and barium particles that make trees and other flammable materials more vulnerable to fire.
Now, if you haven't heard about the chemtrails, if luckily you're in an area of the country where you have not witnessed the chemtrails, there are aircraft that have been prowling the skies for over a decade, that are planes filled with tanks that then dump chemicals into the sky. And although the Congress has denied its existence or not admitted that it does exist, even when some intrepid citizen journalists have put the microphone in front of the face of people like Dianne Feinstein and asked them point blank about what this is, what is this spraying that's going on, it became clearly obvious for anybody with the eyes to see and the ears to hear the lingering of these trails, the way that they crisscross. These are not normal patterns of aircraft activity, that it's happening all over the globe except over the Soviet Union and China, leading someone to believe that those states would shoot these planes down if they saw them overhead. There have even been whistleblowers that have come out to blow the whistle on this activity. The ability of people to deny that it's taking place have gone away, and just be advised, though, that there may be after effects of the spraying. If, let's say, it's a benign cause, that they think that by doing this they are going to reflect the sun's activity, the sun rays, and protect the planet in some way. There are other theories that what's going on here is they are trying to shift the pattern of how the winds move, especially on the coast of California, and if they push the weather systems up to the north, and that may be what has been causing some of our especially dry summers, with the weather pattern being changed and moisture that would normally come in being diverted up and around the United States. Or is this something more sinister than that? These chemicals may kill the bees. The bees have disappeared from my backyard with spraying going on overhead. And the bees are critical to the food chain and the pollination that takes place for fruit trees and other foliage in order for them to go through their life cycles. Separate an issue that we will cover on a different Open Mind Friday episode, but just wanted to pause it here just while Abigail was talking about the fact that it may be that these chemtrails, since they're using aluminum and barium, some sulfates that then drift down out of the atmosphere, and when they hit the ground, they then can attach themselves, the particles, to leaves of plants and make them more susceptible to burnage. I have seen in my backyard an orange film after some of the spraying. I don't know if that's aluminum or barium, but bottom line is it's never happened before. I've only seen it since the spraying began, and I don't know how toxic it is, if this is some other method of culling out the population through some kind of chemical means. But keep an eye on this one, but we will go back now to reporting on the direct energy weapon and the burning of the forest fires in California.
And other flammable materials more vulnerable to fire. Some even believe that fire embers contained programmable nanites that spread the fires. Let's look at some clips and see what we can see. This first clip, presented under fair use as are all of our clips, because we are offering education and commentary, is of some fire footage from some folks who believe the fires were propagated by programmable embers. The YouTube account where this video appears aplaintruth.info has uploaded a series of videos related to the fires. The series is entitled Paradise Lost. This is a clip from another video claiming that the fires were not and could not possibly be forest fires because buildings are burned, but the tops of the trees are not.
And so what Abigail is saying here, and you need to pay attention to the photo, you can clearly see that the remnants of the foundation of a building that was here, these were houses that you can see here. And what she is pointing out is that you then look at the foliage around where the house no longer appears, and these trees are still green from the bottom up. From, say, the flat, where the fire from the house itself may have impacted the tree, but the top of the tree above how those flames may have stretched out from the building itself are still completely intact and green. This tree is alive and growing. So how in the world, if this was a quote-unquote forest fire, would the forest still be intact, but only the buildings and the vehicles and other structures, man-made objects on the ground, those are what was affected, not the God-made materials that are on the ground, such as the foliage that you're seeing here. Scratch your head and think about it a little bit. I know that the Marxist Screaming Media showed some of the footage of this, but they really didn't give you the commentary that would prompt you to think more deeply about what in the world is going on.
In this video from InfoWars, even firemen offer their opinion that the California fires were not typical fires. While alternative media do not seem to be ruling out a directed energy weapon, perhaps none is needed when smart meters can do the job. This video shows a burned smart meter and speculates that this smart meter may have been the cause of some fires.
And is it a coincidence that starting a few years ago, homes in California were receiving flyers from different utility providers prompting you to move to these smart meters, to move away from your analog, your older model, with the twirling dials showing the usage as far as electricity went, and go to this new, more programmable, perhaps, or maybe even controllable meter. The sales pitch for using these naturally included your ability to, using a computer or another device, to monitor what was going on as far as your usage of electricity. But could there have been a more nefarious reason for them wanting all homes in California, at least, and other places around the world, to be fitted with these new devices?
PG&E is widely considered culpable in the sparking of many California wildfires, as this map found in a Wall Street Journal article records. PG&E is facing bankruptcy and likely restructuring. PG&E is no stranger to culpability for loss, sickness, and even death, as anyone who has seen the film Aaron Brockovich is aware. Which brings us to the topic of possible genocide. Many claim the fires were intentionally sparked in order to kill off residents and destroy property. This group of people discussed with Deborah Tavares the fact that a traffic lane much needed for escape from the fires was intentionally blocked when they were trying to get to safety.
Deborah Tavares, for those who don't know, has been reporting on the anomalies in California, these fires that have been raging out of control for the last 4 years, the change in weather patterns, the focusing in on particular areas of California to suit different initiatives, either driven by the United Nations with their United Nations Agenda 21, other proposals that have been made in order to remove people from the wilderness areas and to have them become more urbanized, for the remote areas then to be returned to their pristine state or used for other means by government programs.
Why would anyone want to kill residents of Paradise and other regions of California? Some believe certain areas are being burned in order to clear land for a high-speed railway corridor. When any land is burned off,
I just wanted to pause here for a moment of personal reflection. What you are seeing is the charred remains of a 1967 Mustang Fastback GT. I owned one of those. It was my first car. You're looking at it, Acapulco blue with a black interior, 390 cubic inch 4-speed GT model, and even with you can see the lifters on the bottom end. That's exactly how I had my car set up. This could be my car, which I on the black window said Crazy Horse back in the day. But I just wanted to pause here for a moment of personal reflection. I kicked myself in the butt at least twice a day for having sold that car, but I had to have some money to go to grad school. On we go.
insurance companies may refuse to help people rebuild. The burned land can then be purchased at fire sale prices. Sorry about the pun, DC. Sit idle for some time, then be developed. Many believe land is being cleared of people in order to comply with Agenda 21 rewilding goals, as revealed by this map. There was even a rumor that warring cabal factions burned paradise because some were in hiding there. The fact that all of the things I've mentioned are possible does not mean that we need to narrow the field and choose just one. Many, or even all, of the causes and reasons suggested might be true. The one thing we know for sure, DC, is that this was not a normal forest fire. For Truth Be Told News, I'm Abigail. Thanks, DC, for including our special segment.
So thanks to Abigail for putting together that informative piece about exactly what has been happening in California with the fires. It's forests and now needs to shoulder the financial responsibility of actions that are being taken in California that don't actually make the people safer or the wilderness areas more secure. Is it possible that the lack of proper wild forest management is key to this dilemma as well? That may be another factor involved in this unusual and continuing fire activity in California, and we will report on this further as more information comes to light. So to the deep state operatives, our New World Order governing overlords and black hats everywhere, I say repent. Your time is running out. The hammer of justice is headed your way. Abandon the leaking ghost ship while you can. Save yourselves from this wicked generation, for we will never surrender. We will never be silenced, and we will continue to fight on to victory in God's name. God bless you all. Looking forward to being with you again.